Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Picnic Table Chat Show. Hopefully, you can all hear me okay and whatnot. And welcome to season 10. Happy New Year and all of that. I hope you all had a good one. Let me know if you've been up to anything in particular, if you did anything special for the new year. Just let us know in the comments. It'd be cool to know what everyone's been up to because it's been a little while since we've been here. We were supposed to be back last week, but you know what it's like. Things get absolutely crazy here sometimes, and I've had to delay it. But we're here right now, so let's crack on. So, season 10, episode 1. Welcome all. So we've got lots of people here in the chat tonight, so I'm not going to go through it one by one, but welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. So what's going on at the minute? So let's talk about the dives first, because they're the first thing that comes to my mind. They're clearly in front of us. The Polyrachus dives here in front of you have been going absolutely brilliantly. They've been a little bit quiet lately, but they tend to do that once a year or so. It's not quite a diapause, but you do find they do tend to slow down still in the colder months. But they're still very active, as you can see. This is a feeding time, so they're running across the bridge to go and get some food currently, which is, pretty cool to watch. But the main thing I wanted to bring up at the moment is we had a little bit of a situation over the holidays, you could say. Not quite a situation, but I don't know what to call it. But so they started linking their bodies together to form a bridge from this bridge to the side of the tank. So as you can see, the bottom of this bridge has been barriered and the top of the tank was barriered, and eventually it did stop. But that was quite interesting to see. Ants are obviously documented to do it, but it's not something I get to see quite often. Even with my amount of ants, it's not something they do regularly. It was very cool to watch, but it was a bit of a, oh my god, what do we do situation, because there are quite a lot of ants, as you can see. Well, as we know, this colony is mahusive, and yeah, they were just quite happily just like, we looked behind us, we're just like, oh no, the wall's covered in ants. But we got them all back safely like we do, and we sorted it, and now they're quite happily just ignoring it. It's once they get those pheromones there, it's like all the other ants will naturally follow. So once you destroy those pheromones with the talcum powder barrier anyways, and you add that barrier, it eliminates that sort of need to follow, you know what I mean. Good evening, thank you for popping in. So what else is going on? We took a couple of days off over Christmas, obviously, which was really nice and well needed. I didn't do any work for a few days, which is absolutely beautiful. And I've even had a couple of days since Christmas where I've been able to sit down for an extended period of time and actually just rest, which was really nice, really well needed. It means we're ready to tackle the new year. And with that, we have made some massive changes over the last week or so. And this is somewhat why I've had to delay things a little bit. Some of you will probably be waiting on post and things like that. I've pretty much got nothing done this week, so I do apologize about that. But we are ready to go for tomorrow morning. So we've basically, I won't go into all of the changes, but we've made some changes, new staff roles and things like that, which are really going to help in the background, make a massive difference to sort of my workload. And basically, it's just going to help keep that quality really high. Good evening, Antisocial. It will help us keep that quality high, because that's the aim for this year. The aim for this year for us is to really make sure that every package is the top quality, as good as we can do, no forgetting things, because we have made a few mistakes these past few months with me doing a million things on top of each other. I have made a few mistakes in forgetting little bits and bobs out of boxes, which we always resurrect. Obviously, we always just send it straight out as soon as postage is available. But I don't really do that anymore. Mistakes are no good. So we've made a few changes in the background, mainly this week, and it's been absolutely hectic. And they say I've pretty much had to write the week off from a work perspective and do other things. But it's been well worth it. And I think moving forwards, we're going to really see a difference this year in the way Ants Unlocked store is run. Obviously, I'll still be doing all the other bits like the events and things like that. It's really going to take a lot of pressure off me helping that extra helping hands with the store side of things. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. So yeah, that's one of the main things that's been going on over the last few days to weeks for us. Anyways, huge changes. And like we said, we have started to do a few of the updates on the chat show and things like that. So there will be some more updates coming and some more interviews lined up. I've been speaking to some interesting people about doing some interviews. So hopefully I can rope them in, we could say. But yeah, some really cool changes happening. We got the new intro. Did you like the new intro? I spent a bit of time on that. I'm not very good at art stuff. That's not really the right word, but kind of anything like that, I'm not very good at putting those sorts of things together. But I quite enjoyed that one. It was not bad. Nice kind of clean look for a nice clean start, start to a new year and start of a new season. Season 10. Can't believe how long we've been doing this now. God knows how many episodes there are. Hundreds of episodes of these picnic table streams. And most of you have stuck with them for like every episode or missed a few. Yeah. Oh, you missed a new intro. Oh, you have to watch that back. Let me know what you think, buddy. Sorry, that's completely threw me off my track now. Doesn't matter. We'll keep moving on. Tom, the kittens are watching the ants on telly. See, kittens do like moving things like bugs and ants and spiders and stuff a lot, don't they? The camera's just gone completely awful because a beetle decided to climb up there and it's gone out of focus. So it will probably sort out. Yeah, I do have, but yeah, it has been completely mad, we could say, over the last week or so. One of the days we thought the kids were all going back to school. Turns out they weren't going back to school that day. It was like an insect training day and whatnot. It was a bit like, oh, okay, that put a spanner in the works and things like that. And yeah, but it's been all right. Yeah, but family, yeah, it's been hectic and it is what it is. Just going through my list of things to talk about, to be honest. Hectic body linking. I have got down to talk about the leaf cutters, actually. So let's talk about the leaf cutters next. The leaf cutters have been up and down, as you know, with that damage that they took to the fungus a while back. It's somewhat been, I say, up and down, but they are starting to make a good comeback now. That fungus is like a nice size and doing well, filling the chamber. So we'll wait and see how it keeps going. I expect they'll make their full comeback because we've got some plans to make an extension, because the numbers, there's tons of ants. It's just that fungus started shrinking due to I think that if anyone wasn't watching, the leaf that I used and I've been grabbing for a long time, I even know the guy quite well. I think it might have been sprayed with pesticide when they got a new gardener. I'm not 100% sure, but we used that leaf and within days the fungus was almost half the size and it kept shrinking, So it definitely took a hit that day, and it's been a somewhat struggle to get it to really grow a significant amount since. But no, in the last week or so, it's really it's almost doubled in size in the last week. And yeah, it started to make that comeback. So we'll be all right. Let's say the work account is fine. So as long as they've got those leaves to harvest, you know what I mean? They should be fine. What else are we going to talk about? Let's talk a little bit about the shows. Obviously, we've got the shows next year. We've got some really cool new features that I'm adding. I can't go into them massively, but there's going to be some really interesting stuff going on. Obviously, the trade area, the stages and things like that. But we're going to have some really interesting new features, which I'm not going to divulge just yet, I think is the word. Is that the right word? I think that's the right word. Yeah, I'm not gonna let loose that information just yet, but we've got some really cool new features. And obviously we've got 3 big shows next year, same as we normally do. We're starting off all the way up in Sheffield in a football stadium. So if you want to check it out. It is over on the website, of course. Tickets are same price as always. Basically, everything's the same as always. The timings, the price, and all of that lot. But the event is going to be slightly different to our normal setup, but it is going to be recognisable at the same time, which I think is a good way to go. You know what I mean? Because we got a really cool show going. We got I really enjoy our sort of set up a show because we got the trade section, but for me, the trade section really comes sort of second to what else is going on in the room. The stage and the education and really like just enjoying the hobby is the main part for me, making sure everyone else enjoys the hobby like I do, you know. So and sharing it with people, that's the right word, sharing the hobby with people, you know. My love for the hobby with people. So I think it's a what's the word? Yeah, I think it's my words are completely mangled tonight, as you might guess. But I think it's moving in the right direction. You know, it's a really fun event, and we had loads and loads of, I won't say kids because it wasn't all kids, but we had younger people, you know, and everyone was really happy when they left. And to me, that makes a big day, you know. The main part of what I want to do is leave everyone smiling. Could one make a live planned area and then put ants in that environment? Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's pretty much what these live in. I could show you the tank in 2 seconds. I'm just thinking if I can actually, everything. Yeah, 2 seconds. So you might hear I'm now the other side of the room. I should have said before walking away from the microphone. Sorry. So this is their tank. If it focuses. Focus is awful tonight. There we go. So yeah, you want to kind of get a environment that's sort of the right size. These were a decent sized colony when they went into this size environment. But they were in a smaller planted tank, bioactive situation, from about 40 workers up until they probably hit about 100, 200 workers. Now the lights are on, that's going to be a nightmare. Oh well. Yeah, it's sort of a problem when you can't. It was awesome. Last show was fantastic. So many happy faces. Yeah, that's the main thing, you know. It's all about those happy faces when they're leaving at the end of the day. So I'm just having some coffee. Problem with the chat show is I keep chatting and I let my drink go cold every time. Almost every time for like the last 3 or 4 episodes. At least, as I've been drinking cold coffee by the end of it. But that's okay. We're somewhat used to that with 3 kids. We are obviously at loads of other events. So if you are local to the Weymouth sort of area, pop on down to, we've got one just after the Sheffield event, and we've got some other events booked in for the rest of the year, which is going to be absolutely spectacular, you know. Getting out there and enjoying things from another point of view, because it's really awesome hosting the shows, but it's somewhat hectic, if you know what I mean. I'm doing that sort of side of it, so it's really enjoyable to go to the shows as just a trader, or even just attending different shows is really fun as well. Really important to what I do as a sort of all-round keeper now, not just an ant keeper. You know, learning from other people is always a key thing. Speaking of which, I've been doing some really cool research lately. I won't bore you with all the details, but the research, the papers that came out over the last year have been really interesting in the ant world. I don't know if many of you have been following it or, you know, read these papers, but there has been some amazing research done, especially over in the Florida area over the last like 8 months, maybe 10 months. It's been quite interesting about different, what's the word? Can't even remember the right word because it's such a big word, but it's basically the different worker roles and how they divide those roles within the nest, etc., etc. Some really interesting stuff I've been learning lately. So if you're interested in learning about it, feel free to message at any time and I'll either send you a link or give you a quick chat through of what my understanding of it was, because it is sort of it takes a few reads, you know what I mean, to really get a full grasp of it all. But some really interesting stuff in there. It sort of goes on top of the past research into nest structure and role development within the nest and things like that, building on those past research papers from like good 5 to 10 years ago, you know. So I'm just making the point really, ant research is really coming along, especially these last few years. The amount of what's the word? Um, okay. The amount of different researchers and PhD students, you know, that are coming through these days, and just looking into ants has been sort of not overwhelming, but it's been very impressive over the last few years. Obviously, I do keep track of it, and I do talk to a lot of them as well. So it's been somewhat, yeah, it's been somewhat interesting to see how many are coming out of the woodworks now that ants are becoming more of a publicized thing. I think ants are, you know, like I say, publicized a bit more and definitely being noticed a bit more, which was again another aim of the ants, was to really bring it for one. It's been about many years, but we've always been sort of put in the corner, haven't we? Not put in the corner, but you know what I mean, like we're the ant keepers in the invert world, and yeah, people look at us weird when we say we're just ant keepers, I suppose. I think it's what it is, you know what I mean? It's that breaking that sort of stigma. Is that the word? I don't know if that's the word. I think that's the word. But yeah, it's been very interesting. Some really cool stuff coming out of it lately. That beetle, like the beetles have been doing some very inappropriate things on this bridge just before I turned live. I was a little bit worried about the content we were going to be streaming, but obviously it's a nature show. But that beetle was going to get his leg bitten by ants because he's sat still and not moving. I wonder why he's doing that. He's probably found something to eat down there, maybe something sticky. Because occasionally we do put the sugars and whatnot just straight on the bridge, just to see how much a bundle it is. And is that the right word? Yeah, like a ball in mass. But right, so we did that a couple of streams ago, didn't we? We put the sugars on the bridge directly, and by within 5-10 minutes, there was so many ants that, like I say, they were balling up, but they were like almost falling off in teardrops because there was so many ants, and we kind of had to sort that one out a little bit. Stop the strange looks, people. Yeah, that's exactly it. Or not just when you collect them, but on nuptial flight day, when you run out there and you're like collecting ants into test tubes, and people walk past and go, "What are you doing?" They might, you know, they might eventually like get it. I don't know. Meant planted area. What do you mean by planted area? Like bioactive, like so that they can dig in it, or do you mean like? I don't know what you mean. What do you mean by planted area, buddy? Just explain that one for me a little bit more, so I give you the right answer. Basically, keep an eye on the store and the ongoings on the store. We have quite a few new things to be added over the next few months. Obviously, loads of new species of ants and other inverts coming onto the store. I've been talking about it for a while, but we've had different breeding projects going and things like that. So, yeah, there will be lots of new products coming over the next few months, livestock, and we could call it dry stock. I suppose that's what I refer to it as. But we got a few cool new things that have been being tested. You know, we've got new products that have been being tested for a while now, and so far we've not had any issues with these new products, and I'm quite happy with them. You know, I've got quite a few of them on my shelf now because they look really cool. I've not had any issues, and the testers haven't had any issues. So I expect some of these will be released as well in the next few months, especially now we've got that extra help with running the store. Having those extra pairs of hands will definitely make a difference. With, like I say, just taking the weight off me a little bit and making sure that everything's completely perfect, you know, makes a difference to me and to you. We're just watching that beetle thinking, what is he doing? These right, so you know there's a satellite nest. I actually looked at the satellite nest just this evening. Now, yesterday or the day before, it looked completely as it did a few days back. But looking at it today, it looks like it might have been abandoned. So it seems like a satellite nest was formed during the summer months, and like they might have been moving them between different levels of heat because obviously there is a window like the other side of the room, but light does come in about 3:30, 4 o'clock up until about 7 o'clock in the summer. I'm somewhat blinded. It's very hard to work because the sun's just coming straight in my eyes, but it does hit the tank behind me as well. So it makes me wonder if it's been heating that top tank or heating the bottom tank, and they've made a satellite nest so that they can really micromanage those environments a bit better. Because looking at it today, it's got a hole in where the entrance is. Now it looks like a beetle might have worked his way in there or something like that. Okay. But anyways, these are Polybacchus dives, Cameron James. Thanks for popping in. Polybacchus dives, and there's also a dubia beetle on, not a dubia beetle, a darkling beetle on camera as well in the background. They're just running across a bridge between the tanks. We feed them in the second tank. I'm just saying their satellite nest looks like it might have been abandoned and they've moved back into the main nest. Like I say, the entrance hole seems to have had a beetle enter it at some point, and looking inside, it doesn't seem like they're in repair mode or anything. There's a few knocking about, like probably 10, maybe 20 walking around the sort of amphitheater structure, but it's not really buzzing like this, you know. And as it was in the summer, it was absolutely buzzing. So just turning around to look at it now. Yeah, like I say, there's a few ants knocking about, but it doesn't seem to be as active. They do. They collect leaves and debris to make their nest and things like that. It's very interesting. Obviously, a species of weaver ants. Oh, like a miniature garden. What? So, like, shallow enough don't nest in it, but deep enough to put plants. Is that what you mean? Because yeah, you can do bioactive. You can put plants and things in. You can do ones that they can dig in. You can do like if you plan it out well, you can do ones that they won't be able to dig in, and you can put the nest sort of on top. Things like that. You can really you can do quite a lot with ants as long as you're providing the right environment for them to nest in. Eventually, you know what I mean? Not eventually, but in this somewhere in the environment, if that makes sense. So the outworld sort of situation, you can get away with quite a lot. It's mainly for the what's the word? Let's say it's mainly that environment that they need to nest in, the humidity, the darkness, and things like that. I will show more ants in a future episode. I'm not really in a position to move the camera around much at the moment. It's sort of on a difficult tripod. Weird sort of it's not even a tripod, it's like an arm thing that bends. It's somewhat difficult to move without disrupting the whole thing. But if you're interested in seeing some of the other species, we've got plenty of videos on the YouTube. Feel free to check them out. We got weaver ants. Well, these ones, sorry, these are my weaver ants I'm referring to. We got leaf cutters, and we got quite a very good Lasius niger colony actually in a sand nesting environment at the minute, and Tetramonium bicarbonateum. I can never pronounce that. Don't ask me to. We got quite a few interesting species. I admit, not as many as I used to have. We used to have loads of personal colonies as well, but not so many anymore. Like I say, you have to either choose personal colonies or shop stock, you know what I mean? And as the shop sort of has grown, I've decreased my own personal colonies to accommodate. Do they bite? Yeah, they do bite, and they can. Well, they say spray formic acid, but my personal experience, it's more of a drip with power. If you know what I mean, it's not like a spray like you would think of them spraying, but it's got a little bit of power behind it. So, but yeah, they can hurt. But I wouldn't, you know, like any ants, I wouldn't recommend handling them much. Respect them and you'll be fine. You know, we don't generally get bit much. Even when they do escape, we're very careful. Pick them up and put them back. Use cotton wool, things like that, and you're generally going to be all right. They are obviously very fast and amazing climbers, so you have to like keep that in mind when you're dealing with them. If they get on your tweezers, sometimes it's easier just to drop the tweezers and try and come back later. But if you pre-plan these things, you can get a little bit of barrier, run that up and down your tweezers, and there's no way they can run up it. I find the talcum powder barrier works really well for them, mainly because they like the humid environment. The talcum powder barrier stays there quite well. You know, I tend to find Fluon. It's good, but especially on the silicone areas, it's good, but it just kind of doesn't last as long as this. Sometimes it does. I mean, other people might have different experiences, but I just found that the talcum powder works best for me. Um, they do bite cat. I'll let you hold one day. No, I won't. But yeah, it does. It does. They do bite. Is what I was trying to say. They do bite, but it doesn't overly hurt unless it's multiples of them. You know, it's not too bad. But again, it's like anything, like any invert I keep, I just respect what it can do, and I don't tend to mess about with them much. You know, I watch them and observe and enjoy that part of it, but I um, don't really, what's the word, mess with them. You know what I mean? They never bit you. That's good. To be honest, they never bit me until they got into high numbers. You know what I mean? I would never. Who knows better? That's. I would never say I know better, but everyone has different experiences, and I find every ant colony, even of the same species, will act slightly differently. You know, so yeah, everyone will have different opinions on it. And I don't think anyone's got a right opinion, but everyone's got a right opinion at the same time, if you know what I mean. And you're gone. There you go. The Pyramid Aztec thing, has the main person shown it off yet? No, so the Pyramid Aztec thing, I've sort of been testing it, and there's a couple of tests out there, but we're not got that many out there yet, you know, and I think we sold two or three. So they are about, and you can get to see them. But I don't think there's been many videos. We'll do a video soon, because I've got all sorts of little Aztec-y bits and bobs to go with my one, because I kind of thought, why not? Like little, I don't know what they are, but little like sundial things and little walls and huts and things like that. So, you know, yeah, yeah, it's been good. Both time I have, yeah. Uh, I answered that quickly. He was being abusive to one of our. I won't stand for that, quite honestly. For it, simple as that. I won't stand for any abuse to me or my staff. It's better on stream. And that's the end of that. I won't talk about it again. So what else have we got? We got the walls, we got little huts, I've got other little temples and stuff to go in there yet. So I'm making a right little display out of the Aztec-y stuff, and I'm planning on taking this display piece to the shows with me. So it will be about, and it will be seen very soon, I'm sure, if someone else doesn't do a what's the word, a video on it. We have slightly updated it from making effect I should really get round to updating the pictures, but like I say, I've been doing a million things, and like I'm sure it will get now. I've got the extra helping hands. Simple as that. So it is now. Oh, gatekeeper ants. Yeah, gatekeeper ants are absolutely. It's not one that I own personally, but I do know people with them, and I've obviously seen them about, and they are very cool. I mean, there's so many different that like I can never really make up my mind what I'd want to get next. And to be honest, with the ones that I've got, they sort of take up enough of their own time and resources and space. So I'm quite happy with what they are and how it is at a minute. But I have always said I like things like that. And what's the other one? I like army ants and things like that, you know. But like it is now past, so I am going to head towards the end of the stream. If you want to say anything or ask any questions, now's the time to sort of do it. Otherwise, we're going to be heading off in just a few minutes because I've got all sorts of things to do and packages to pack for tomorrow's post. So if you are waiting for a package, it should come out tomorrow and expect delivery Tuesday, if not sort of Wednesday, if they're running really slow. Got offered a queen with 20 workers for 50 quid. Wasn't sure yes or no. Honestly, I don't know the price of gatekeeper ants at all, so I wouldn't really be able to comment on that one. It's a difficult one. My advice would just be to sort of have a look on Google, sort of see what everyone else is charging. I don't know, but it's not one that, like I say, I know personally. It's not one that we have on the store, but you know, it's different ants cost different money. Is what I'm gonna say. There we go. Cooler boxes are expensive, Genius. Thank you very much, Ant Dorset, for clearing that one up for me. So it's not one that I've really looked into massively. But yeah, some ants can get very expensive, like anything in the hobby, like tarantulas and anything else. There's the cheaper ones and there's some really expensive, crazy ones. Good evening, Liam. We were just about to log off the stream, I'm afraid. We're pretty much just getting there. I'm just double checking my list that there wasn't anything else to talk about. But that is probably it for tonight. We will be back as normal next Wednesday and Sunday for our normal sort of live streams and a few games and things like that. Liam, we're not kicking anyone off for no reason. We're not allowing anyone to be abusive to my volunteers or staff on stream. If anyone's got a message, they're more than welcome to message me privately and we can discuss it. But I'm not having any kind of abuse to anything on stream. On that note, I'm going to say a massive thank you to all the viewers for watching tonight. I'm sorry for these few people that we've had to boot from the stream for being abusive and whatnot, exactly just like that, yeah. So I do apologize for that, but as always, we will deal with it as and when needed. But yeah, join us back for our next stream and we'll see if we have a bit of fun again. We'll see. Massive thank you to everyone for watching. As always, you're spectacular, and I appreciate you all for coming here for this chat. Massive thank you to our sponsors and thank you for sponsoring us for yet another year. So it's not a bad thing, is it? You know. And then, yeah, a massive thank you to support all round and staff and volunteers and just everyone. You know how it goes. But I'm going to say a massive thank you to you guys, really, again, joining me for season 10. How long we've been doing this now? It feels like a very long time, but I'm sure we can always find something to talk about for a while. But yeah, so I'm going to love you. And as always from me, I'll see you again. Goodbye.